The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.
Welcome back to another, I was going to say abbreviated, but we really don't know how long we're to go on K4Wins. K4Wins, man, sometimes we go an hour, sometimes we go 30 minutes. It depends on what we're talking about. But we let it all out there because there's so many different things you can earn money on. We're just getting done with a Super Bowl and a super season for K4Wins. Do you have the numbers in front of you? Because I don't like tooting our own horns. But if we've got a service here and people are, wanting to pay for picks and getting ready for March Madness, which is right around the corner, people need to know how we're doing on our numbers. But just give me some brief numbers on some stuff that people, perhaps gamblers, would like to be hearing.
I mean, yesterday we were 5-2-1. It was all college basketball. Sunday we were 4-1. How about Saturday? We had 2 college baseball games that we gave out. Minus 4.5 runs on both. Both teams won by over 10 runs.
Nice. You can do minus 4.5 runs. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah. So in college baseball, that is one of the stats that's out there a lot. That line is out there a ton.
Minus 4.5?
Minus 4.5. That's it's just one of the big things because you give so many, especially early in the season, and your midweek games are upper echelon teams versus crap.
Yeah.
And it's a great thing if you ever can look and you look at it enough and you get a good pitching matchup from one of the weaker teams, because so many people don't realize that pitching, how actually important it is. This weekend, Tennessee beat Nicholls State on Saturday, 5-1 in their second game. The first game Saturday was a doubleheader, but their second game. Well, the kid from Nicholls State was a stud pitcher. And he only gave up 3 runs in, I think, 6 innings, but then they gave it the other 2. The pitching matchup favored Nicholls, but Tennessee's bats just took over. They won 5-1, but they didn't cover a 4.5.
Yeah.
We didn't have that. I actually personally played Nicholls State plus the 4.5 and was very relieved when Tennessee didn't have to bat late and it sat on 4. But those are some easy things to look at and do. Same thing as we get into Major League Baseball season, looking at pitching matchups. One of the things we talked about last year on this show in depth was teams and their batting average against left-handed pitchers.
Yeah, you brought that up. Yeah, that's interesting.
And how the Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants last year were 2 of the worst teams against left-handed pitching. And those were the games, especially when the Dodgers, and they're going to do it this year too with their $8.7 billion payroll.
Mm-hmm.
Made that number up, but it's probably pretty close. They're going to have games, and getting the teams they're playing plus 300, or if you can get plus 1.5 or 2.5 runs with plus money against some teams that once you see how they hit and don't hit, it's a great thing to come across. But for the year, we're 172 and 112 with 3 pushes, so just right at 61%. So not too shabby. We've been 64 to 66% over the last 2 years, and we're going to creep up to that again. Yesterday, I know how much you love these things, but yesterday we won again with one of those teams you wouldn't think about. 2:00 game, early game yesterday with East Texas A&M.
Right.
Minus 2.5, and they won by 17.
There you go.
So some of those games that we really loved and jump on, and there's a ton of value in the smaller games. Like tonight, you've got Michigan and Purdue.
By the way, I used to be a sucker for those games, man. If I was ever paying for a service, and I'd see like an East Tennessee, blah, 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 blah. I always felt like someone had to have some inside information. Unfortunately, I would bet a lot bigger on those smaller games, and that's the dumbest thing in the world to do, because you should be gambling on the things you know most about. But when you're paying for service, you assume they do, like we do. We know what we're talking about, and so that actually came in. But normally those games would come back to bite me in the ass. But yeah,
let me tell you about one of the worst beats I've ever seen, and one of the things that makes me think everything in sports is fixed. And you can go off on your conspiracy theories and tangents all you want. I apologize if my voice is a little bit gone.
That's
I think
right.
I have the flu. I haven't been to the doctor yet. Last night, McNeese State at Northwestern State. McNeese is a 14-point favorite. They have a 14-point lead at halftime. We had minus 6.5 first half. That covered easily. They're up 14 at halftime. They're up 29 with 7 minutes left to go in the game. They won by 11.
And what's the line?
14.
Oh, my gosh.
They went 7.5 minutes without a basket. They went 8 straight trips without shooting the ball.
Oh, wow.
They had 3 offensive fouls. I was watching the game.
I hate that.
3 offensive fouls that were not fouls. 2 times, Tony, the guards just dribbled out the shot clock and did not shoot. And the announcers are like, what is going on?
That's just bad coaching, man. Because, I mean, that's where you need to have your second, third string guys in there, letting them run. You got to be running the game, man. You got to be running the game. I mean, now, if there's 3 minutes left, the coach for North Texas is known for this. Like, he'll start sitting on the ball. If he's up by 20, he starts sitting on the ball with 7 minutes left. That's his mark, 7 minutes. And you want to talk about boring-ass basketball. I'm sitting them down there at Bartow Arena, and they had UAB down like 16 one time, and it's 7 minutes they're holding onto the ball and not shooting. And it was taking me back to the 70s where we had 16-11 games. I hate that. Let your team play. Football,
I will tell you right now, that is what Josh Heupel has started doing the last 2 years. One of the reasons why Tennessee jumps up and gets pounding people in the first quarter, in the first half. In the second half, they come out and they, instead of getting up to the ball, going quick, doing all that, they sit on it for 30 seconds, walk up to the line and hand the ball off over, the left tackle. And I can't stand it. One of the greatest bets the last 2 years has been Tennessee first quarter, first half, and then bet against Tennessee in the second half because of that reason. One of the things that Nate Oates is known for is he doesn't slow down.
No.
If Alabama's up, they keep hammering it. They push at you. They're shooting threes. They're going after it.
That's come to bite him in the ass a couple of times too. Sometimes I wish he would sit on it just a little bit and not shoot with 25 seconds left on the clock when you're up by 10 with 10 minutes left. Real quick, minus the 4.5 on the college baseball game. What's the juice on a game like that?
110.
Really?
You're minus 10. I mean, that's the great thing about it is it gets you up there and the juice is not generally high. If it's going to go above, and I have seen them 120, 130, 140. If it gets above 150, they just take it off. And the great thing is those games, there's not a money line on those games.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, when they're minus 4.5, there's not a money line. And that's good because, a lot of locals, if you will, they will cut you off. They'll go in and they can subvert their system, and they'll take something off if it's a minus 300. You can't play it.
Yeah, well,
and a lot of people love to do that. And there's a lot of services out there that will give you their 25-star lock play of the day. And it's like tonight, it would be Florida minus 1,200 against South Carolina because they're at minus they're minus 23.5 points at home tonight. And I do believe Florida is playing as well as anybody in the country, if not better. Man, 23.5 points in the SEC, and South Carolina's not good, but still, I don't know if I can play that.
Right now, let's go to some basketball here. The latest bracketologist came out. Michigan, the number 1 overall in the bracket right now. Duke, Arizona, and UConn are your 4 number 1s. You got 10 teams now in the Big Ten and 10 teams in the SEC, 8 in both of the Big 12 and the ACC. It's good to see ACC playing something decent in at least college basketball. I know my boy Clemson, he saw the Duke game this past week, and it was just, I didn't think they were going to win it, Cameron, by any stretch. They were catching 12, and Duke's defense is really, really good. And they're known to be good. Don't get me wrong; they're always pretty good. It's nothing to see a 75-55 game for Duke, but this may be historically good Duke defensive team. So we were talking about the other day, Coach K. Who? I mean, that's how good they are right now. They're playing out of their brains. Looking at some of the SEC teams, I want to go through. Texas is a 9 seed. Alabama's crept up to a 4 seed, which I think is interesting. Vanderbilt's also a 4 seed. Your Tennessee Volunteers are a 6 seed. North Carolina, just got a friend of mine out there is a Baby Blue fan. They're number 6. That was a great win against Duke they had a couple weeks ago.
How about this, Tony? North Carolina is catching 6.5 tonight at North Carolina State.
And give me NC State all day long.
You like that, huh? You like
No,
NC State
I mean,
giving up 6.5?
it's the smelly fish all day long. I would love North Carolina minus 6.5. I'd take North Carolina. I'd put my mortgage on North. That's why I'm taking NC State.
No. North Carolina's getting 6.5. NC State's favored by 6.5.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's why. Why? You give me North Carolina plus 6, I'll take that all day long. North Carolina State will win by 9 tonight.
North Carolina's got a few injuries, some beat up, but they have not played great.
You want just because you brought that up, you want a stake bet on it?
No. I'm with you. There's that line.
Can we just go out and have steak then and pay for our own dinners and just have a good time? All right, Arkansas 5 seed. We're doing SEC by kind. We're in SEC land. So if you're outside the SEC, and 90% of our listeners are in the SEC, Florida is a 3 seed. Kentucky a 6 seed. Georgia a 10 seed. A&M's a 10 seed. They are actually last 4 buys: A&M, UCF, Georgia, and USC. Last 4 in UCLA, Santa Clara, TCU, San Diego State, and then the first 4 out: Missouri, Ohio State, New Mexico, and California. I bring this up because last year it was a plethora of 5s, 6s, 8s, 9s. There was 10, 11 teams. I think there was 11 in last week, but there was nothing sniffing a 1 or a 2 seed, not even a 3 seed. Now it looks like the SEC is floating up a little bit, even so much that Alabama's got them to 4 seed. We got a couple of 3 seeds. What's your thoughts on the overall look of the SEC? Are they starting to play some of their best basketball?
Absolutely. And I think you're going to see Florida. I think Florida's going to move up to the 2nd or 3rd too. By the end of the year, they may. I don't think they can move up any higher. But the way Florida is playing right now, I really like what they're doing. Arkansas is probably going to drop a little bit because they play at Alabama tomorrow. Alabama has plenty of opportunities to move up as well. But I mean, let's look at it. I mean, I know you've got the projections right there in front of you. So UConn is looking at maybe a 1 seed, but if they get the 1 seed where they are, they're going to have Houston as the 2 seed. I was looking at that earlier. And then they would have to play Houston in the Elite 8 in Houston.
That's tough.
1 seed versus 2 seed. That's just crazy. If I'm UConn, I figure out a way to lose that game. But, Vanderbilt and Missouri being the last one out right now. Well, guess who Missouri plays tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Vandy. So they have that opportunity. Is that tomorrow or today? I think it's today. So Missouri is going to have their opportunities to get back in. But I don't like the way they're playing. I can't remember if Georgia. Did you say Georgia's still in it?
Yeah, Georgia's still in it. They're a 10 seed.
I don't see it. Georgia.
They're actually one of the last 4 buys. So I mean, they're right there on the cusp.
Georgia plays well at home. They do not play well on the road, in my opinion. I think Georgia is going to fall out, and they're going to go into the SEC tournament probably needing 2, if not 3 wins to get in the NCAA tournament. Now, since it's only 68 and it's not 188,000 like some people want the NCAA tournament to do and get bigger. So,
that's going to be really interesting too, because when they expand that, it's going to be interesting to see, because I mean, the AAC is having their basketball tournament here. I love basketball tournaments. If it's the Midwestern, I don't care what it is. I will go watch a basketball tournament from start to finish. I get the brackets out. I don't even know who's playing. To be Illinois State, I don't care. I just love watching college tournaments because it's so doggone. You're just playing so many games in a short period of time. But for example, the AAC this year, they're only taking 10 of their top 18 teams to play in their tournament. Half the league is not going to play in their conference tournament. Right now, UAB is sitting around a 5 or 6 seed. And obviously, if you're not in your tournament, you're not going to the big dance. So when you double that number or add another 32 teams or whatever we're planning on doing next season, it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to change some of this round robin type of tournaments going from top to bottom, because now everyone doesn't have an East and a West or North and a South. They're just putting everyone all together. By the way, there's 2 seeds you mentioned: Houston, Iowa State, Illinois, and Purdue. Out of those 4, which team's got the best shot? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but what team's the best shot, or which one's the closest to a 1 seed? Houston?
You mean the team that lost to Iowa State last night?
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to look at that and wonder with Iowa State. You're going to see there's going to be some changes. I think BYU is going to fall off dramatically. Losing Saunders really hurts them. I mean, he's averaging 18.5 points a game, probably one of the top 5, if not top 10, maybe top 5 shooters in the country for BYU. And now he's out with torn ACL. I think so. They're going to drop down. I'm going to be interested to see. I love Arizona, and I love the Michigan team.
Yeah.
But Purdue's big guy inside, if he doesn't get in foul trouble, it is Zach Edney all over again, or Edey, whatever his name was, if they just let him sit in the paint. I watched him play the other day, and he just sat in the paint the entire game.
They could call 3 seconds on him 12 times a game.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Seriously, it's
sometimes they can call it 3 or 4 times on the same.
If I'm a visiting coach, man, I'm always going watch big number. Was it 3? But watch him in the paint. Just watch, because I guarantee you he's low over 3 seconds, like more than 90% of the time. Anyway,
absolutely. But back to your question, I would have to say Iowa State. Your only issue that you're going to get is like Iowa State or Houston has to play Purdue is they don't have the big man to match up inside with him if he's allowed to do whatever he wants. But I love Kelvin Sampson at Houston, and I cannot for the life of me think of Iowa State's coach's name right now. But I will tell you, I think the coach of the year should be Todd Golden because of how they started and what they've had to come and bring together, especially losing their guard play. Yep. And their guards now are playing well. And if their guards are playing well, Florida, in my opinion, is the toughest team in the country to beat. And as a Tennessee fan, that hurts me deeply to say out loud.
Yeah, Cyclones, it's funny because every time I look up at the TV, I think I see an Iowa State score. Isn't it weird? I mean, every time I turn, they're 23-3. They've lost to Kansas. They lost by 21 to Kansas. They lost to Cincinnati by 9, which was just kind of a weird game. And of course, they rolled off a bunch of games. They lost back-to-back games, and then they lost to TCU by 7. And that game was on the road. So, again, night in, night out, you watch NC State beat North Carolina tonight. I got a good friend of mine, by the way, who is going to be at that game tonight. He has got a North Carolina baby blue room in his house, in his $8 million home. And he loves himself some North Carolina. So I hope he actually sees a winter chicken dinner. That's at NC State too. So they're going to be going down Tobacco Road. And hopefully they'll be checking out some Duke game stuff, but they're going to be there all night. So I hope he has a wonderful and safe time.
Here's one for you, Tony. I got to throw this in before you get off because you're talking about Homer. So excuse me, Villanova at your Musketeers tonight. Villanova opened at 6.5. It's all the way down to 4.5.
Give me Villanova. Let me tell you something, man. Villanova has been the burr under Xavier Saddle's ass for like the last 7 years. When Xavier's great, they lose to Villanova. When Xavier sucks, they lose to Villanova. They lose to Villanova over, and I don't know what it is. But yeah, it's at Villanova.
It's at Xavier.
It's at Xavier. Okay, because Villanova's not good this year. Not traditionally, they're not national championship Villanova like they were a few years ago. But my Xavier Muskies are sucking some win too. And I don't know if Xavier can find the right chemistry. And I think it's purely chemistry. They have a leadership issue. I don't know. Their bigs have issues, man. Their bigs are really hot and they really suck. And they've been like that for a long time. If that
line gets below 4, I got to go with Xavier. The way they've been playing, they've lost some games. Yeah. They have lost a lot of games recently, but they're getting, in my opinion, they're getting better and they're getting closer. And I think tonight Villanova comes in and just like you talked about, it's a rivalry. But I think this is a get-right game for Xavier. Mm-hmm. I can see them winning this game by double digits.
Let's roll through a couple of these games real quick. Get your thoughts. He knows all about basketball. K4Wins.com, K4Wins.com. Check us out. Again, lines change there all the time. You can check the website out as many times as you want. You never know. Oh, my gosh, I was on there 5 minutes ago, and look, there's a new play. You never know what's going to happen. Huge matchup tonight, Michigan at Purdue. Purdue is actually catching 2.5 at home, the number 1 against the number 7. Who do you like?
Purdue's really good at home, but I just like the way this Michigan team plays. I love the coach and the picture they took with him sitting in one of the seats right in front of the student section when they played Michigan State, and how much he gets into it. I think he's a player's coach. Boilermakers are what they are. I think Michigan wins, and I like Michigan. If they don't let dude just stand in the paint, I think Michigan wins, and the transfer from UAB, can't remember his name, has been dominating, leads them in scoring and
Axel Lindendorf. He's been unbelievable. He was our 2010 guy last year. If he's playing for UAB right now, they're probably dancing. But good for him, man. He found himself a home. He's going to be a first round guy. I mean,
$2 million a year up there.
We can always say he played at UAB. He was fantastic. He had a lot of growing to do, and he's growing up really fast in Michigan. You mentioned that South Carolina Florida game. That 22.5 that's just too many. Now, normally I look like that. If I'm a dumbass, I'll go ahead and play Florida because it looks like it's too many. But Florida's 19-6. They're having a great season, obviously, but I don't know if they're 22.5 points better than a South Carolina squad that's basically been beating around the 500 line pretty much all the time. Other game, kind of interesting. Louisville on the road against SMU. And they're only seeing that this is where, and I know if Kip was on right now, by the way, Kip, in case we'll be back on Friday, live from the desert. Case is actually out in Vegas, but Kip is actually down in Florida at the Grapefruit League. He's actually checking out some Major League Baseball this week. But for people that don't understand, first of all, someone will go, well, wait a minute. The number 2 team in the land is on the road against a team that's not ranked at all, and they're only favored by 2.5. And that looks like the dumbest, stupidest, easiest bet in the world. And you sit there and try to explain to them, it doesn't matter whether they're number 2 in the land or number 10 in the land. It doesn't matter. Here's a prime example. We call them smelly fishes. Louisville sitting there at 19-6, 20th first in the country, and they're only giving up 3.5 on the road at SMU. That should tell you how difficult it is in conference play to win on the road, even at 3.5.
Absolutely. I mean, SMU at home in this situation, it looks, like you said, if somebody's just a casual bettor or not paying attention, they just jump on Louisville early here. And I'm not saying Louisville can't win this game by 10, but they can also lose this game by 10 because it is a conference game on the road. And there is college basketball is true. And especially if, if you sell a lot of tickets. College basketball, in my opinion, it is harder to win on the road in college basketball than it is in college football.
I agree with you. And I didn't think it was like that because you're on the same court. It's the same, and coaches will tell you this. The basket's the same height. The court's the same length. It's the same width. Everything's the same. I always think it's really interesting when you get into March Madness, when you start playing these major domes where you have like 40 or 50,000 seats, and everyone talks about the basket and the depth perception of how shooting. These guys are obviously really good at what they do. That should not play into it, but fortunately or unfortunately, depending how you look at it, it certainly plays into it.
Here's another one, Tony.
Yeah.
I'm probably sorry for interrupting. Miami of Ohio, undefeated this year, still ranked 23rd. They're at UMass.
Yep. And
they're only giving up 3.
Yeah. You and I jumped on that Buffalo game earlier this year, and it was 4, and Buffalo actually got inside the number. And again, that's one of those games where if they had blown out Buffalo by 10, then that dumbass is like, I told you they were so much better. And I'm like, okay, dude, bet that 10 times, and I promise you're going to come back with your tail between your legs 7 to 10 times. Once in a while, the blind squirrel will catch that right. But this is one of those games where if in fact they win this game outright, you're like, wow, the thing's lined up and that's how it should be. But there's a reason why that line is where it's at, and Vegas knows what they're doing. They're building buildings and you're not. And
they have struggled to cover on the road.
Yeah.
If you look at their against the spread record, their close games, their scares have come on the road.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, you look back at that and you say, okay, well, their scares have come on the road. So good teams find ways to win when things are not going their way and find ways to win on the road. So you have to give them props, even though it's Miami of Ohio and they play in one of the worst conferences around. It's hard to show up and win 25 games in a row against air.
Yeah.
So to do it against, teams, whether they're, top 10 teams or bottom 10 teams, you still got to go out and play. The ball still has to go in the hole. You still got to play defense. You still have to do the things that it takes to win ball games.
I'm looking at scores and odds. They're pretty good. Sometimes they screw up. They say Miami of Ohio is 17-0 against the spread. I have a difficult time believing 17-0. I could look at it, and I'm sitting here looking at it.
They're not. We know for a fact they're not. Buffalo.
Exactly.
What happened against Buffalo?
Exactly.
And they're a 4-point favorite.
Be careful what you like. SMU, by the way, we mentioned them at home. They're really good. They're 13-8, but at home they're actually 9-2 against the spread. So yeah, that's one of those things where you have to look at those things, man. You can't just.
What's NC State against the spread at home, and what's North Carolina against the spread on the road?
That is a great question. I will tell you right now. North Carolina State is 15-8 against the spread. They are 11-3 at home against the spread. So yeah, they're really good at home. And then North Carolina is 12-8 overall. I'm not sure how they are on the road. Their road numbers. But that's certainly something to be looked at. But yeah, the Miami team's having just a fantastic year. They're really good.
Yeah, they are without a shadow of a doubt.
Wisconsin, Ohio State. This may be one of those games where it's almost a pick 'em plus 1.5. Ohio State catching points. I always think it's interesting when a team like Ohio State, which obviously is going to be playing for its bubble life, they're 16-9 right now. They're probably going to have to win a couple teams in the Big Ten Conference tournament to actually get a sniff. Right now, they are currently in, but they're catching 1.5 against the Badgers. Any thought on that?
The newly ranked Badgers, who are now ranked 24th, and I believe it's their first week in. Wisconsin is phenomenal at home, and just the way they play. Iowa State plays much better at home. This is one of those games where I think it's going to come down to inside play and free throws with them. Which is kind of like looking at Michigan State at home, giving 8.5 to UCLA.
I was going to go there because we spoke about the Michigan State game on Friday, and everyone was like, "Yeah, we're leaning Michigan State," and they get blown out because they're on the road. And everyone was talking about Tom Izzo, and we had a really good back and forth because I know how Case feels about Izzo, and I know how you feel about Izzo. They're 25 this year. They're having a fantastic season. But yeah, they usually get really. There's a reason why he's been in more Final Fours than just about anyone else. But yeah, minus 8.5 seems a little steep to be given up to the Bruins at 17-8 on the season. Georgia, Kentucky, a pair of 17-8 teams. I think this is a really interesting matchup. Kentucky is starting to play some pretty good basketball too. They're giving up 7.5 later on tonight. And again, at the end of the season, both teams, by the way, against the spread 9-11, 11-10. When you look at the end of the season and you're looking at, okay, what games could we have won that we did not? This may come back to bite Georgia in the ass because it'd be a really nice win to win on the road. That again is hard to do at Rupp.
I agree, but I can tell you what, I mean, Kentucky's had some just played horribly at home sometimes this year. They are, I believe them and Georgia are probably the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, of college basketball. They play really well on a Tuesday, and then they come back on Saturday and suck, or vice versa. If I had to play the game, it's not a game I think I'm going to play. I would lay it with Kentucky. I don't like Georgia on the road, and I think Kentucky's been playing a little bit better. But they're coming off. How much did they lose to Florida by?
Oh my God, it was 20. Yeah.
But yeah, so this is the reason why also looking at Georgia's schedule that I said I think they're going to drop off and they may fall out, while at the same time Missouri can move back in. But Missouri's one of those Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde teams as well. They play Vandy tonight. Tonight or tomorrow, but it's at home, and I can see Missouri winning that game.
Yeah, Kentucky at home, just the last few games against Tennessee, they win by 3. Against Oklahoma, they blew them out by 16. Ole Miss, they won by 9. Texas, they won by 5. Mississippi State, they blew them out. Missouri, they won by 5. Bellarmine, they won by 14. St. John's. So, I mean, it's not a typical.
You just mentioned 4 games they didn't cover.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, there's that. And then
Bellarmine was catching 34.5, by the way, and they lost by 14. So, and then Gonzaga at home, where they got just ramshot by 39. And then that North Carolina game too, where they actually got beat by 3, but North Carolina was catching 7.5. So I don't know if
is LSU tonight or tomorrow?
For Kentucky?
No, LSU game.
I am looking at
it. I think it's tonight. They're catching 11.
It is. They're catching 11.5 against Texas. Yeah.
LSU's just not good. And I mean, when they came to Tennessee, I'll tell you what, they played very well against Tennessee, but they have so many injuries and so many things going against them. They played that game at Tennessee with only 9 people on the bench total. Yeah. And we're in foul trouble throughout and stuck it close. So the 11 is difficult, but at the same time, I mean, if you're going to play that game, you've got to lay it with Texas, who's been playing better at home. They've run up against some of the better competition in the SEC here recently. Is one of the reasons why I think that their record is not what I thought it could be.
Yeah, really, that's about it. I mean, the late game tonight, Texas Tech and Arizona State. Tech's 13th in the country. They're giving up 8.5 on the road. That's another one of those. If you're sitting around and you have to play it, or you just want to play it, Tell me you wouldn't take Arizona State and the Sun Devils plus the 8.5 at home against the Texas Tech, a late game. It's a 10 o'clock tip.
Yeah, all the numbers say Texas Tech by 11. I have it circled, written down. I've got them, the number I make. I'm pretending
that's why I throw them out, man. Well, circle it and look at it.
My number's 11, but I was looking at this. Some of the games that I really love that we've talked about, I like more of the team totals and the totals in these games. I've already got 4 team totals and 3 game totals that they're not posted for us. I'm waiting on some input from the other 3Ks and to see what we're going to do. But I love some of those, and that's one of those games right there. So Arizona State's team total is 72. Texas's is 80. Texas Tech to win, they got to put up 80 in that game. So the total is 152. Texas Tech, everybody thinks they're a defensive team, just like Iowa State, just like Houston. But when Texas Tech and Houston, played, they had 190 points scored between the two of them in regulation. Texas Tech gets over 80. I think they cover easily if they get the game into the 80s.
Texas Tech has scored over 80 points only once in the last 9 games on the road.
Against Houston, right?
No,
was that at home or?
No, period. They scored 78 against Arizona on the road. They scored 70 against West Virginia on the road. They scored 80 against UCF, was the push. They get 92 against Baylor. That was the only game they went over. Colorado, they only scored 73, 65 against Houston. They scored 101 against North Carolina. But yeah, one of the last 8 games. So sorry, not 9. One of the last 8 games they've gone over 80 points. That may be something.
They're offensively, they're a different team at home,
yep.
and that's the reason. Which a lot of teams in college basketball are. They just
it's always really hard for me, Kai, to bet over team totals when they're on the road. I just feel like if you're going to bluster it and you're going to get one of those games where you have 53 points at halftime and the over under 72, chances are that's more likely going to happen on your home floor than it is on the road. You just don't see blowouts of that magnitude on the road where you're blistering. Now you may go over the total, but you just don't see it blister over like that.
Absolutely. It is difficult to lay. And one of the things to look at, I don't care who you are or who you're playing, anything over, in my opinion, the magic number, because it is right at 3 possessions, the very lowest you can get for 3 possessions. Anything over 7 laying on the road becomes difficult because teams play more and don't give up in those last 2 minutes like they do when they're on the road versus at home. Even some of the I saw one the other day, I think the line was 8. The team was down by 10. And they get it across half court with 2 seconds left and launch a 3 and hit it, lose by 7. But at home, you can't just dribble it up and give up at home in front of your fans. You have to go to the last second. Yep. And that's one of the reasons why it's such a difficult number on the road.
Case Keefer and Kip Keefer, our other Ks, will join us again on Friday, 10 o'clock Central Time right here on Tony Kurre Radio. Thanks to the thousands of folks who check us out every week, and make sure you get that app, TKR app, and get after it. We've got some fantastic shows we do on Tony Kurre Radio around the clock, 18 different shows, including K4Wins. And, of course, you can also watch us on television, the starting lineup again this Saturday morning from 10:30, 11 o'clock with the cast of idiots, including the legend. We'll do that again coming up on the Saturday morning. Kai, we need to get you in there too. We haven't had you in there. We're actually, Kip's actually on the road. So we have the Spiegs coming in, Jeff Spiegel from ABC 3340. Man's been doing sports since I was 2. I think he's older than I am. I can't believe he's still there. He's like a weekend at Bernie's, dude. He's got the strength.
There ain't no way he's older than you, Tony. Ain't no way.
He got to be, dude. When I got here, he was doing sports at ABC, wasn't he? He'd been there for a long time, but he's great. He's great. I love him.
I didn't think he was that old. I mean, you're old as dirt.
Whatever, dude. Come on, beat your ass.
Hey, to be 60, you're still kicking it, looking good.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. God willing. All right, I'm gonna let you fly. You got anything else you want to add real quick before we let you go?
No, just check us out at K4Wins.com. We are going to be rolling this week. Lots of great games, and be looking on this weekend. We will have at least 3 college baseball plays, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't think it'll be this coming Friday. It'll probably be another 2 weeks to have a really, really, really long discussion on a Friday before we get into college basketball about baseball futures, Major League Baseball this is the greatest park in America right here on my hat, on my shirt, on my pullover. That's right. Fenway Park, baby.
Yeah, you took the team total over, did you?
I did.
I still haven't decided whether I'm going to mess with. I was sitting there. Pardon me. I was sitting here looking at the SEC baseball tournament, which is always one of my favorite things to do. Well, they have not updated squat on their website. SEC.
No, that doesn't surprise me. They generally updated like the 4 days before.
Yeah.
I'm tell you what, the SEC tournament, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but the SEC softball tournament is going to be incredible. They have 7 of the top 10 teams in the country in girls softball. I mean, what else would it be in the SEC? And the baseball tournament is going to be incredible also, because I don't think anybody is going to pack a place out with ranked top 25 teams like the SEC baseball tournament will do yet again.
Bases are too short, and I hate the slap hit. I do
too, but I tell you what, hey, I don't like the way the SEC has moved their tournament too. I understand, and you're going to get all 16 teams like you were talking about with the AAC dropping teams out. I hate it, and I understand getting your 16 teams in, but now that it's just a single elimination tournament all the way through, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, it kind of does. All right, dude, we'll catch up on Friday. Thank you, man.
All right, have a good one.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.